The letter wasn't mine. No name on the envelope, just our address. I opened it. Inside, a photo. My wife, smiling, with 2 kids I had never seen. My hands shook. I flipped it over. A date scribbled in blue ink. 2010, 10 years ago. The kids looked 8, 9. I did the math. My stomach turned. The letter had more. A note, written messy, desperate. You can't hide us forever. I sat at the table. The walls closed in. I stared at the photo until my vision blurred. My wife came in, keys in hand. "Hey, what's that?" she asked. Casual, normal, like nothing was wrong. I hid the letter under a magazine. My voice cracked. Nothing, just mail. But inside, my world was burning. And I knew, in that moment, my wife had a secret life. The photo burned in my pocket. I couldn't stop touching it. Couldn't stop looking at the kids' faces. The way she smiled at them. Not fake, not distant. The same smile she gave me when we first met. That night, she cooked dinner. Like always. Pasta. Salad. She laughed at something on TV. But I watched her every move. Every glance at her phone. Every pause when a text buzzed. After dinner, she left her purse on the counter. I opened it when she went upstairs. Inside, 2 phones. I froze. One was hers. The other locked. No case. Just plain black. I shoved it back before she came down. My chest pounding. Why 2 phones? Later, she said she was working late tomorrow. I nodded. But inside, I screamed. At night, while she slept, I went to the attic. Boxes of old papers. I searched for hours. Finally, a folder. Receipts. Bank statements. Withdrawals from a branch across town. Every month. Thousands of dollars. I'd never seen those transactions before. I remembered the photo. The kids. The note. You can't hide us forever. The money wasn't just disappearing. It was going somewhere. To them. I shoved the folder back. Stumbled to the bathroom. Splashed cold water on my face. My reflection stared back. Tired. Broken. Afraid. She stirred in the bedroom. Called out, "Everything okay?" I forced my voice steady. "Yeah, just couldn't sleep." But I knew sleep wouldn't come again. Not until I knew the truth. Morning came, but I hadn't slept. I sat at the table with coffee gone cold. The photo lay hidden in my pocket. The words in my head. You can't hide us forever. She came downstairs. Hair tied back. Business clothes. Coffee in her hand. "Big day today," she said casually. I stared at her. "Where do you really go?" I asked. She froze mid-step. Her smile faltered. "What do you mean? You said work. But you weren't at work last week." I checked. Her eyes narrowed. "You're checking up on me now?" I slammed my fist on the table. The cup rattled. "Don't turn this on me. Just answer the question." Silence. Her breathing shallow. She sipped her coffee to buy time. Finally, I was with a friend. I leaned forward. "Which friend?" She shrugged. "You don't know them." I pulled the photo from my pocket, threw it on the table, then explained this. Her hand trembled as she picked it up. Her face drained of color. The kids. Her smile. The note. She swallowed hard. "Where did you get this?" "Doesn't matter. Answer me. Who are they?" Her voice cracked. They're not what you think." I stood, my chair scraping the floor. "Not what I think. It's you, smiling with 2 kids I've never seen in my life. And the note, you can't hide us forever. What the hell does that mean?" She shook her head, tears welling. "You don't understand." I shouted louder. "Then make me understand." She gripped the photo, knuckles white. "I'll tell you tonight. Not now. Please." "No," I snapped. "You tell me now." Her tears spilled. "I can't. Not here. Not like this." The silence after those words was worse than shouting. I stared at her, shaking. She stared at the floor, broken. And in that silence, I realized the truth was bigger than I imagined, and darker than I was ready for. I couldn't breathe. She went upstairs with the photo in her hand, and I sat at the table replaying 20 years of my life. Every smile, every late night, every excuse. They all came back at once. But this time, they looked different. I remembered the business trips. She'd leave on Fridays, return Sundays. Always training or conferences. Once, I surprised her with flowers at the airport, but she wasn't on the flight she claimed. She laughed it off, said schedules changed. I believed her. Because why wouldn't I? I remembered the birthdays she missed. 2 of them. She said work emergencies. I ate cake alone with our daughter while she cried. Back then, I told myself, that's life. Work happens. I remembered the phone calls. She always stepped outside. Always. And if I followed, she lowered her voice. Once, I caught her whispering, "It's okay, I'll see you soon." She said it was her sister. I didn't question it. I remembered the envelopes of cash, hidden in her closet. Stacks of bills, bound tight. She said it was for house repairs. But we never fixed anything. And the biggest memory, the one that stabbed hardest. A night, 15 years ago, we argued. She shouted, "You don't understand my life." I yelled back, "What life?" She froze. For a second, her face cracked, like I'd just said the one thing too close to the truth. Then she stormed out. Back then, I thought it was just marriage. Now I knew better. Every trip, every excuse, every lie, they weren't accidents. They weren't coincidences. They were a second life. And I sat there, 20 years later, realizing I'd been sharing my wife with another world. I waited until she left the house, said she was going to the store. I knew better. The moment the door closed, I went to her office upstairs, the place she never let me touch. Her desk was locked, bottom drawer, but locks never stopped me before. A screwdriver, a push. It clicked open. Inside, folders, receipts, documents. The first one I pulled out, a school registration form. Name, Daniel Miller. Parent/guardian, Sarah Miller. My wife's name. My hands shook. Year, 2012. I pulled another paper. Medical records. Same name, same parent, same signature, hers. Page after page. Bills, insurance, all signed by her hand. And then, photos. Printed, folded, hidden between files. Her, smiling, holding a boy's hand. Next to her, a girl, a little younger. They looked just like her. Her smile, her eyes, her kids. My throat closed. The room spun. It was all here. The family she built behind my back. Year after year. While she sat at our table. While she kissed me goodnight. At the bottom of the drawer, a phone. The same black phone I'd seen in her purse. Unlocked. I scrolled. Messages. Hundreds of them. "I'll be there Sunday. Tell the kids I love them. We'll celebrate soon, I promise." Photos of birthdays, holidays, vacations, all without me. One message froze me. From just last week. They're asking about their father again. I can't keep lying. My chest caved in. The father. The truth. Was it me? Or someone else entirely? I dropped the phone. Stumbled back. Clutched the desk for balance. I whispered to the empty room. "Oh my God, you really did this." The photo from the letter was no mistake. The kids were real. The family was real. And my wife had been living 2 lives. For 20 years. I sat in the living room. The documents scattered on the floor. Photos spread across the table. The phone still buzzing with her messages. Everywhere I looked, I saw her lies. 2 kids smiling back at me. Their birthdays. Their holidays. Her arms around them like she belonged there. Like she was theirs more than mine. I poured a drink. My hand shook so bad, half spilled. The glass hit my lips, but did nothing to stop the fire in my chest. 20 years. 2 decades of dinners, anniversaries, promises. All while she disappeared into someone else's world. Into another home. Another life. I heard her voice in my head. Laughing. Saying she loved me. Telling me I was the only one. Each word now twisted, poisoned. I looked at the photos again. The boy's face. The girl's smile. I couldn't escape the thought. Were they mine? My stomach turned. If they were, she'd hidden them from me. If they weren't, she'd chosen another man. Either way, she had betrayed me deeper than I thought possible. The clock ticked louder. Every second like a hammer. I pressed my palms to my head. Tears burned my eyes. I whispered, "What do I do?" If I stayed silent, she'd keep living 2 lives. Me the fool, blind in my own home. If I confronted her, the truth would destroy us. Our daughter would lose her mother. Our family would explode. But maybe it was already destroyed. Maybe I was the last one to know. I stood, paced the room, back and forth, each step heavier. The walls felt smaller, the air too thick. I grabbed the photo again, her face smiling back at me. But this time, I didn't see love. I saw a stranger, a liar, a woman who built a life on my trust and burned it piece by piece. I shouted into the empty house. Why? The echo came back at me. No answer, no comfort, and I realized there was no way out without pain. Either way, I'd lose her. Either way, the truth would cut everything apart. I dropped into the chair, covered my face, and for the first time in 20 years, I felt completely alone. I waited for her. The clock struck 10. The front door creaked open. She walked in with grocery bags. Like nothing was wrong. "Hey," she said softly. Too softly. Her eyes darted to the floor. I didn't move. Didn't blink. The table in front of me was covered. Documents, photos, her hidden phone, the letter. She froze. The bag slipped from her hands. Cans rolled across the floor. One hit the wall with a hollow thud. Her lips parted. Where did you?" "Sit down," I said, my voice low. Sharp. Not mine anymore. She didn't sit. She trembled. Eyes locked on the photos. On the kids. On the proof she couldn't bury anymore. I slammed my fist on the table. "Sit down." She flinched. Slowly, she lowered herself into the chair, tears already welling, hands shaking in her lap. I leaned forward. 20 years. 20 years you looked me in the eye and lied. Who are they? Her voice cracked. They're my children. My chest collapsed. They're gone. I already knew. But hearing it broke me anyway. With who? I asked. My throat raw. Who? She sobbed, covered her face. I can't. I grabbed the photo, shoved it in front of her. Then I will never believe another word you say. So tell me now, who is their father? Her hands fell, her face red, wet with tears, her voice just above a whisper. Not you. The world shattered. My ears rang. I felt sick. I stood, pacing, my chest heaving. 20 years. I raised our daughter. I built this family. And you were out there with him? She sobbed harder. I wanted to tell you. At first. But then it went too far. It was too late. And I didn't want to lose you. Lose me? I shouted. You lost me the moment you chose him. The moment you hid them from me. The moment you let me build a life on your lies. She reached for my hand. I pulled away. Her touch burned. The silence between us was louder than screams. And in it, I realized the woman sitting across from me wasn't my wife anymore. She was a stranger, and she'd been a stranger for 20 years. The room was silent. Only her sobs filled the air. The photos stared back at me from the table. Her kids, her life, her secret. I stood by the window, hands trembling, chest burning. I wanted to scream. I wanted to break everything. But instead, I just stood there, frozen. She whispered through tears, "Please don't leave me." I turned, her face broken, eyes swollen, begging, "Don't leave you." I said, voice shaking, "I've been gone for 20 years, and I didn't even know it." She reached for me again. "I love you." I laughed, cold, bitter. "No, you don't. You love him. You love them. You built a whole life while you let me rot in the dark." She fell to her knees. I was scared. I thought I could keep both. I thought I could hold it together. "Please, don't destroy everything." I stared down at her, at the woman I once promised forever to, and I felt nothing but emptiness. I grabbed the photos, held them high, then let them fall, scattering across the floor. Her face with them, her lies staring back up at me. Our daughter's photo caught my eye on the wall. Her smile, her innocence. She didn't know. She couldn't know. I whispered, "How do I tell her? How do I tell our daughter that her mother has 2 more children she's never met? That her mother has been lying to us both her whole life?" My wife sobbed louder, but I didn't move to comfort her. Not anymore. I walked to the door, paused with my hand on the handle. The house behind me felt colder than ever. Without looking back, I said, "You already destroyed everything. I'm just the one finally admitting it." The door shut, her cries muffled behind it. The night air hit my face. For the first time in 20 years, I felt the truth. Heavy, ugly, but real. And I whispered into the darkness. The worst betrayal isn't from enemies. It's from the person sleeping beside you.